All right, thank you for joining me. AfroDJMac's free weekly Ableton live racks. I've been getting a lot of questions about how I do my vocals live, so I'm going to give you the rack so that you can play around with it, maybe modify it, and use it in your own live sets. Okay. So first things first, I have a gate right here. Whoops. Right now it's off because I'm talking and I talk a little lower than I sing, but it's useful to turn this thing on while you're playing live because you often have music that can come get picked up by the microphone when you're not singing, and that can cause a whole bunch of little problems. So I avoid that by just turning on the gate. Next, I have what I call robot voice. Robot voice is hooked up to my launch pad over here. And this is just a vocoding effect. You can fool with the settings. Use it once in a while just to keep things interesting. Next, I have a beat repeat, and that's controlled over here with my APC40, and also the pitch is controlled here. So really, it just picks up as soon as you turn the knob. It starts, repeating whatever you are currently doing, and it plays it along with the rate. Definitely a fun thing to fool around with. Next, I have a non-Ableton plugin called Nectar, which I use only for the auto-tune. I admit I use auto-tune once in a while. And I turn the knob to turn on my auto-tune. And as I turn the knob, it changes the key of my auto-tune. And that's so that, if I have one song in one key and another in another, I can switch the keys and, fool around with auto-tune. That's, a once in a while thing. So anyway, moving right along. Next, I have just an EQ8, and that is mapped to this button on my launch pad. Ho! It's a radio voice. Just like that. Nice to get that radio telephone voice here and there. Next, I have a separate rack within a rack. This is my vocal reverb and delay rack, and also my overdrive. And it's split up into two chains. The first chain is just a pure, unaffected signal that gets distortion put on it. This is a nice little effect you can use. Just be careful. It can cause feedback, but it only goes up to 27%, which I think will help prevent that. On the other chain is where my delay and reverb are. And those are controlled by my reverb right here. Oh, woo! And my delay here. Delay. This is the speed right here. Woo! And I have it set to, let's turn that off for a second. I have that set to repitch mode by right-clicking here and putting that in repitch, which allows you to get these stretchy analog delay sounds. So, woo! And it's also set to sync with your tempo. Sometimes it's nice just to grab a word. Oh! Have that bounce around a little. Throwing a beat repeat. Things really start getting crazy. So, that's this part here. Next, I have an auto filter, which maps to this knob. It's just a high pass. So if you ever need to break things down, I like to use it a lot when I say I have a lot of delay and beat repeats going. It's a nice way to kind of fade those out. Next, a chorus. And that is mapped to this button right here. Ew. It just gives some spread on the voice. I like to use that sometimes on chorus parts in songs. So close that down. Phaser and flanger, which I believe are right here. This is just another effect you can have. I like to combine it with phaser and flanger, or flanger, or whatever. This utility just turns on when I activate the chorus, because I find the chorus causes your volume to drop a little bit, and this just keeps everything level. From there, this is just how I EQ'd my microphone. I don't want a whole lot of bass, so I cut that, and then I gave it a little drop right here just because I don't like the way my voice sounds at that frequency, and the music likes to live there, and the bass likes to live here, so I cut out my voice there. And some compression, nothing too serious. Right now it's barely even activating it, because I find that leads to feedback. But anyway, this is the rack. You can map out all these things however you like. This is how I do it, and that's of course one of many possible ways. So the next fun thing I'm giving you this week is dub delay the AfroDJMac way, which is really just a rack I put on my send. And I put it with this because I use it a lot with my vocals. If I want to just grab one word, and have it delay, you know, this is really handy. So let's click onto this here. I just turn it on with this button right here. And also, I lay out all my tracks over 8 tracks, and when I hit one of these buttons, like I have a kick drum here, if I hit this button, now it will automatically turn the send up, which is right here, to 100%. So it's a nice, easy way to just blast things through your send and then turn them right off. So let's take a look at the knobs that I have in here. First, I have delay and delay time. This is all synced again, and it's also set to repitch, just like the vocal one. So when I say a word, I can bend it and screw around with it a bit. This is the feedback. This will determine how long my delay will last. So all the way down, it turns off the delay completely. Next, I have an auto filter. Sometimes all this delay gets a little crazy. I just like to take out some of the high ends. Bring it back up to taste. Now, the next thing I have is a reverb. Reverb! And it's pretty simple, really. Turn it all the way down, it's off. All the way up, it's basically all the way up. Next is a chorus. Chorus tends to sound nice on this. Just gives it a little texture. Next I have right here, this is my Compressors Sidechain. So now I'm going to play the drums here. Right now I have this routed right here. The sidechain is routed to my drums. You can route that to whatever your particular drum is, or you can sidechain it to anything really. So I'll play my drums, just a simple beat. And now if I turn on my delay here, so just get these effects going kind of nuts for a minute. This is just ducking it every time the kick drum hits. lets the whole thing breathe a bit. Now if I turn it off, there's no ducking happening. Now it gets out of the way. So that's just handy, you know, to keep things neat in your mix. Let's turn this all down and turn that off. And the last two things I have here is, this is the send volume. Now, this macro knob is not actually mapped to anything. My knob here on my APC 40 is just simply mapped to this volume right here. So you can see it moves when I move that manually. And this knob is just, it doesn't do anything except control this knob. And the only reason I do this is just as a visual reference, so I can see where my send is. If you want, you can map this to something totally different. But when you start messing with dub delay, it starts getting a little crazy, and it might be nice to turn down the volume. And what makes a dub delay is that you are sending your send channel back into itself. So the delay is, the effect is being sent back into the effect, which creates more and more effect. It makes a feedback loop, basically. And this knob right here controls how much of that is going on. So let me just show you what happens. So I'm talking to you, and let me turn up my send, and I turn this up. And now you hear, this is just looping and feedbacking into itself. Creates a kind of ambient sound. You know, you can get lots of different things going on with this. I put on my beat. It's ducking out of the way. I think you hear the difference. But I'm going to turn this down. You just got to be careful, because when you send a delay into a delay, you're basically creating a never-ending feedback loop, which can get very loud, which is why I like to have control over my send channel. You can fade this in. You know, you have a beat going like this one. You know, not that that's a wonderful example, but I think you get the idea. Anyway, this is Dub Delay the AfroDJMac way, and this is my microphone vocal rack. Have fun. It's a work in progress. It's always changing. You know, it might be different tomorrow. If you have any suggestions that might make this thing a little more interesting and more fun or practical or anything, please send it my way. This, like I said, is a work in progress, and nothing is really ever set in stone inside this my Ableton Live set. So I'd appreciate anything you come up with. I hope you enjoy it. I'll have some more stuff for you next week, some more synths. And thanks again for following and checking all this stuff out. I really do appreciate it. Take care.